Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's talk about what's really shaping up for the Browns in the near future, especially when it comes to our quarterback situation. It's been a wild ride lately, and the buzz around Deshaun Watson's future with Cleveland is hotter than ever. I mean, we've seen some ups and downs, injuries, and plenty of questions about whether he'll be back on the field in time to lead us into next season, let alone 2026. But the latest reports suggest that Watson might still be in Cleveland's plans for the long haul, and that's something Browns fans should be paying close attention to because it could have huge implications for our team's future. First, let's take a step back and look at what's been happening with Watson. He's been out since October 2024 after suffering a serious Achilles injury. It's no secret that Achilles injuries are one of the toughest to come back from, especially for a quarterback whose mobility and explosiveness are such a big part of his game. Watson underwent surgery back in January to repair a re-ruptured Achilles, and since then, he's been on a steady, cautious rehab process, according to insiders like Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland. Watson is progressing well, but he's still not quite ready to hit the practice field with the team. That's an important detail because even though Watson's rehab is going smoothly, the Browns are taking a very cautious approach. They have the option to activate his 21-day practice window at any time, something they could do whenever they believe he's ready. But the prevailing thought is that Cleveland might hold off until the off-season workout program to bring him back fully. It makes sense, too. With 2 surgeries on that Achilles, the Browns want to prioritize his long-term health over rushing him back prematurely. Nobody wants to see Watson suffer a setback after all the hard work he's put in, especially with the team's future on the line. And here's where it gets really interesting for Browns fans. Despite the speculation that Cleveland might consider moving on from Watson if he doesn't perform, or if the team drafts their franchise quarterback in 2026, the latest insights suggest that Watson's spot on the roster is still very much in the cards for next year. Mary Kay Cabot reports that barring some unforeseen circumstance, Watson will be with the Browns in 2026, which is the final year of his current deal. That's a huge deal for us because it indicates Cleveland's confidence in his recovery and their belief that he can be our guy moving forward. Now, some insiders have thought Cleveland might cut ties with Watson, especially if they find a better option in the draft or through free agency. But for now, the Browns seem to be holding on to him, banking on his potential to still be a franchise quarterback. This is a big deal because it could reshape the Browns' quarterback plans for the next few seasons. If Watson comes back healthy and performs at a high level, we could see him leading the team once again, perhaps even helping us make a deep playoff run. If not, then Cleveland might have to look elsewhere, but the current sentiment is that Watson remains part of the picture. That's a huge source of hope for Browns fans, especially considering the uncertainty that's plagued the team at the quarterback position for years. Now, let's talk about the current situation with the team's backup plans. With Dillon Gabriel in concussion protocol and his status for Week 12 up in the air, there's a lot of buzz about Shedeur Sanders potentially stepping in and making his first NFL start this weekend against the Raiders. And folks, based on the latest reports from Mary Kay Cabot on X, formerly Twitter, it's a 99% chance that Sanders will indeed be under center for the Browns in Vegas. Now, we all saw that Sanders struggled a bit when he was thrown into the fire last Sunday, but those were his first snaps with the starting offense. You gotta remember, he's still learning the system, and one game doesn't define his talent or potential. What's promising is that Sanders will have had a full week of practice to prepare, and the hope is that he'll be much sharper against the Raiders. Browns fans, think about that. This could be the start of something special. Shedeur Sanders making his first NFL start, representing the 42nd different Browns starter since 1999. That's a lot of turnover at the quarterback position over the years, and seeing Sanders step up is a reminder that the Browns are always looking for that next wave of talent to bring us success. Bailey Zappe is also in the mix as the backup, but the spotlight will be on Sanders this weekend, and it's a huge opportunity for him to show what he can do on the big stage. But back to Watson, because this is the storyline that really has Browns fans dreaming big. If he manages to come back healthy and finds his rhythm, our offense could get a serious boost. Watson's ability to extend plays, make deep throws, and lead the team in clutch moments is what Cleveland envisioned when they traded for him. Despite the injuries and setbacks, there's still hope that Watson can be the quarterback to help us finally break through and contend for a Super Bowl. That's why the Browns are being so cautious with his recovery, because the stakes are high and everyone in Cleveland knows that. The team's management, coaching staff, and fans alike are holding on to that hope that Watson's best days are still ahead of him. And if he's able to return in 2026 at full strength, it could be a game changer, not just for next season, but for the entire franchise. We've seen what he can do when healthy, and Browns fans know that with a talented quarterback leading the offense, this team has the potential to be a serious threat in the AFC. We're talking about a window of opportunity that could finally align for Cleveland to make a real push, maybe even a deep playoff run, and possibly a Super Bowl appearance. But of course, there are still questions. The injury recovery process is unpredictable, and nobody can guarantee that Watson will be the same player post-surgery. The Browns are aware of this, and that's why they're erring on the side of caution. Still, the fact that Watson remains under contract and is expected to be part of the team in 2026 is a huge vote of confidence. It signals that Cleveland believes in his talent, his leadership, and his ability to bounce back from adversity. For Browns fans, that's reason enough to stay optimistic. Looking ahead, the draft in 2026 will be crucial. If the Browns strike out on their top quarterback targets in this year's draft, or if they feel Watson's health is too much of a risk, they might pivot and look to develop their draft pick or even consider a trade. But for now, the focus is on Watson's recovery, on Shedeur Sanders stepping up if needed, and on Cleveland finally finding some consistency at the most important position on the field. The team has been searching for that franchise quarterback for what feels like forever, and if Watson can return to form, it might just be the missing piece that finally puts us over the top. And let's not forget, Browns fans, that this entire situation is a testament to the resilience and patience that this team has shown over the years. We've gone through ups and downs, coaching changes, rebuilds, and plenty of heartbreaks. But every step of the way, we've held on to hope that one day, Cleveland would rise again and compete at the highest level. Watching Watson's rehab progress, hearing about Sanders' potential debut, and understanding the team's cautious approach all reinforce that the Browns are serious about building a contender. It's about patience, perseverance, and believing that brighter days are ahead. So as we look toward the upcoming weeks and the draft in 2026, keep that passion alive, Browns fans. This team is on the cusp of something big. The pieces are falling into place, and while there are still hurdles to clear, the foundation for a successful future is being laid right now. Whether Watson comes back healthy and leads us into a new era or we find another star to take the reins, one thing is for sure. Cleveland Browns football is back on the rise and the best is yet to come. And now Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.